Hi, I am Emma Cowling, and in tonight's masterclass, we're going to be exploring what it means to be authentic. So this masterclass is about being your authentic self. So what I'm going to be doing is just kind of exploring with you, what does it mean to be authentic? And then taking you into a bit of an exploration of what it means to what the impact of our state of mind on how we show up. Why don't we show up authentically? What stops us from showing authentically? And what's going in our heads that does that? And so over the course of the next half an hour or so, I'm going to be introducing you to various different ideas and an understanding of what's going on, which will hopefully help you to go away and feel more able to be authentic and show up as you. So I hope you enjoy it. And so I'm going to kick off first of all. Well, actually, what I should say first of all is if you're watching live, then please do comment, add any questions. I'll be grouping them together as I respond to them. And if I'm doing this on StreamYard, so you'll see there's a link in the description above, which allows you to click on, which gives StreamYard permission to see your details. So if you click on that, it means I'll be able to see who you are and who's commenting. If not, it'll just come through as a user. So please do kind of, if you're watching live, share that. If you're not watching live and you're watching this on replay, please do feel free to comment and add questions as well, because I will be coming back in and I'll be looking through this. So it's great to have you here. Yeah, so let's get kicked off. So the first thing to ask you really is, what does it mean to you to be authentic? And I'd just like you to consider this for a little while. What does it mean to be authentic? Now, to me, this means showing up as who I am, being true to myself. It means showing up and representing what's important to me, sticking up for what's important to me. It means showing up and being vulnerable and being willing to be vulnerable, despite the fact that people might reject me or something might happen, and that fear that comes up as a result of being vulnerable. When we show up authentically, we show up with integrity and honesty and trust. We connect with people better. We have respect for other people and respect for ourselves. So being authentic, that's a really important part of that it's a great place to be. And when we don't show up authentically, what happens is that people can pick up on it. So you'll know what I mean by this is that when you're having a conversation with someone and it feels like they're hiding something or something's going on, then what happens is that you pick up on it and you can sense that there's something in the way. So I've shared what it means to be authentic to me, but I just encourage you, because we all have different definitions of this, just encourage you to connect what it means to you. What does it mean to you to be authentic? And please do share in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say and what's coming through to you. And the thing that then I'd ask, following on from that, is, well, why can it feel so hard to show up authentically? Why do we feel that challenge when we do show up authentically? If it's such a great place to be, what's the thing that gets in the way? And the thing that really, there's all sorts of reasons that I'm sure that can come up with you. What stops you from showing up authentically? But actually, there's some underpinning ideas and some underpinning reasons that I think it really all boils down to, and that's fear and insecurity. That's really what stops us from showing up authentically. So if you just let me explain that a little bit more. If when we show up authentically, we are showing up as who we are, and we are showing up and showing ourselves to the world. But we've been taught that it's the outside world is judging, is the thing that's going to give us feedback on whether we're good enough, how good we are, whether we're worthy. All of these things, we've been taught that it's the outside world that is going to give us feedback on that. And so, of course, what happens is we show up authentically, and then someone makes a judgment or a comment or says something about us. And it hurts because this is me. I'm laying myself on the line. I'm laying myself out there as I am. And if you criticize me, what does that mean? What does that mean about who I am? Am I not enough? And so what tends to happen is that what we do is we kind of create a barrier, and we put up a skin, or we put on a different kind of approach, so that if someone was to judge us or criticize us, then we can kind of go, well, that wasn't really me. That wasn't who I wasn't showing up as me. Me's inside me. I'm just going to keep that to me. I'm not going to share it with anyone else, because then they can't judge us. Then they can't hide. They can't criticize me, and it won't hurt as much. And that's what stops us from showing up authentically. But while that can happen, and people can judge us, and we take meaning from that about us, the message that we've got wrong is that actually that meaning isn't about us. We shouldn't be taking that personally. What's actually happening is that person is judging you based on their rules, and we're living by our rules. So we show up, and we are in a world where we have created. We've created the world that we experience through all number of different things that have happened to us since we were born. So over a period of years, we've created our rules on how the world works. And what happens is that if you look at the person next to you, they've done the same thing. They've created rules about how the world works based on their experiences, and they have had different experiences, so they have different rules. So that really kind of affects the way that they're judging. So what's happening is that we're showing up, and we're kind of saying, well, this is me, this is who I am. And then they're judging us against their world and their rules, and saying, well, that's not right. That's not how it works. That's not how you should be. But we can't know what their rules are, because we've not lived through their experiences. We can guess at them, but we can't actually figure it out. So when we try to live by someone else's rules, when we try to understand what's going on in other people's world, then that can be really tough as a way of actually kind of showing up, and it can be a really hard way to live. So that fear and that insecurity, that's what stops us often from showing up authentically. Now, what I want to go on into is and just talk about is what that world looks like, and what I mean by showing up and seeing, hopefully helping you to see that the other person's world actually is something that you don't need to take so seriously and take so personally. So as I said, what happens is that when we show up, and we are interpreting the world by a particular way, what happens is that someone else can be standing alongside us and basically seeing that world as we see it, but then they add their own interpretations, then their own kind of they see different things from us based on those experiences. And the way that I'd like to, the best way I take to describe this at the moment is that imagine that basically we have a pair of augmented reality glasses on, which is created by our experiences. The way the experience that those augmented reality glasses give us, the algorithms behind about what's going to show up, is created by our experiences over the period of time. And we can have someone else who is showing up next to us in exactly the same way, in exactly the same place, so they can see exactly the same things as us. But they've got a different set of glasses on because they have been through different experiences. So they can be seeing something completely different to us. And so for me, that really helps explain it, that although you think that we're seeing exactly the same thing, that we're experiencing the same thing, actually what we pay attention to and where we focus and how we interpret things is kind of completely affected by these glasses, by these augmented reality glasses that tell us what to focus on. So I'm just going to develop that a little bit and kind of help you to explore that and really think about how does that apply, hopefully helping you see that those glasses give us different experiences, but also that we can put on different glasses, we can put on different experiences depending on where our state of mind is. So the next thing I just want to go on and explore is, well, okay, so how do those glasses affect us generally, affect me personally? And for this, I want to just go into the idea of imposter syndrome and share with you an experience that I've had. I've shared this before, so if you've heard it, then apologies, but I'm sure you'll take something more from it as well. So if I go back a couple of years, I went to the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. And if you don't know about it, the Game Developers Conference is it's a massive conference attended by thousands of people from all game developers or related to game developers around the world. And so it's kind of the whole of this massive number of people descend on it. I've been there a few times. A couple of years ago, I went along and I was feeling, I'd had the flu, so I was feeling a bit wiped out. But there was a particular event on that I really wanted to see, and I think it was the makers of Hellblade talking about the making of that game. So I was really interested in seeing it. So I turned up and feeling just, I kind of managed to get over the hills of San Francisco, and I was absolutely worn out. And I turned up and kind of walked into this center, this huge center. And all I could see around me as I walked in were men dressed in black t-shirts, black jeans, who were very visibly gamers, very visibly quite geeky. And I just got hit with this, I don't fit here. I really don't belong here. What is it that I just wanted to crawl away and go home? But actually, I was there and I wanted to hear this talk. So I kind of curled up into myself and kind of shrank behind and avoided people's gaze and looked down a lot and just thought, nobody's going to want to speak to me. Nobody's really, I was there very conscious of standing out, wearing a white top and a kind of a nice blue skirt, female, not really able to talk about console games. I do play mobile games, but I'm not into console games. So I'm kind of like shrinking away going, I don't want anyone to find out that I don't belong here and what's going on. But so please don't talk to me, anyone. And you might recognize this a little bit. So I managed to make my way along to the event and sat in, and it was a good talk, but I'm kind of sat there hoping that nobody speaks to me, and then made my way back to the hotel we were staying in. And I just remember getting back and being completely wiped out and bursting into tears and thinking, oh my God, how am I going to face any more of these? I've been funded to go out here. I'm supposed to be kind of developing business as a result of my work, but I can't show up anymore like that. And I kind of recognized that, okay, I'd had the flu, and so maybe I was a bit wiped out. So I gave myself the next day off and I took a bit of time out. And it was about the time when I first discovered this understanding. So it was starting, I thought, well, I'll try it out. A couple of days later, there was another thing on that I really wanted to go to. So I pushed myself and I was feeling a bit better. And I went along and turned up at the same center, went through the doors, and it was like a completely different event. So yes, there were lots of guys there. Yes, there were a lot of people dressed in black. But as I looked around, I saw plenty of women too. I also saw people with funky hair, people with funky slogans on their t-shirts, people who were kind of standing out and trying to be different, trying to kind of make their mark in this world. And it made me sort of take a step back and go, am I at the same place here? Maybe the audience has changed, whatever it is. So I got on with it. Went along to my meeting. I actually spoke out a bit. It was a round table. I chatted to some people, went home, and actually I went back to the hotel, and this time felt it drained but elated because it had been a good day. Now, the difference between those events, the difference between those two events, it would be easy to say, well, there was just a different audience there on that day. There was a different group of people. But actually, in reality, the difference was my state of mind and where I was. It was what I was looking for when I turned up. So in the first situation, I had the augmented reality glasses that I had on really they were fearful, they were insecure, they were looking around and looking for people that were going to attack me. It was like I have zombie glasses on, and that's the analogy that I think really helps here. It's like I was there and I was scared and I was looking for the zombies, and everything that came at me felt like a zombie. And then the second day, when I went back, I was in a better state of mind. I was feeling better about myself. I was feeling less insecure. And so as I walked in, the glasses that I was wearing, they were nowhere near as powerful. Yes, maybe I was still feeling a little insecure. So there was a few people that looked like zombies or however you want to change that. But also there were a few rainbows and there were a few unicorns in there, and there were kind of things that I wanted to engage with rather than being scared of. And the difference was the glasses I had on. The difference was completely my state of mind. Now, I don't know if this resonates with you. I'd love to hear if you're watching, or if you're either on live or on replay. If this resonates with you, please do share what's coming up for you. So that's kind of just really an example of how our state of mind can affect how we interpret what's going on in the world, and how the different glasses that we're wearing, the different augmented reality things, change our perspective of the world. And that actually the world out there hasn't changed at all. It's just that our experience of it has changed. And if you go away, what I'd encourage you to do is go away and notice, and just notice for yourself how your own experience changes throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. And what you'll probably start to see is that you can experience one thing in one way and then experience it again completely differently. So work's a great example where you can experience it and kind of be feeling super excited about it, and have a load of meetings going on, and you can go in feeling great about it. And then the next day you can have exactly the same sort of schedule and just feel overwhelmed by it all. And because this thing can shift in an instant, we can change our state of mind, and our state of mind will change in an instant. So that's really, hopefully you'll start to see that our state of mind has a huge influence on how we show up. And when we take that back to authenticity, if we take that back to the idea that when we show up, we find it hard to show up authentically when we're feeling scared, then that's saying, well, when you've got your zombie glasses on, when it feels like there are zombies coming out at you, then it's going to be really hard to show up authentically. And knowing that that's what's happening to you, that makes it a bit easier, because the other thing that then comes through is, and that will pass. So one of the things that often comes through when we talk about state of mind and how our state of mind affects how we show up is that we then kind of go, okay, well, I want to be in a low state of mind less, and I want to be in the high state of mind more. So how do I get from the low state of mind to the high state of mind? How do I change my thinking in order to do that? And that's where lots of positive psychology and positive thinking stuff comes in. But that's not what I want to share here. What I want to encourage you to do is just notice that you are in a low state of mind, and notice that your state of mind fluctuates, and it goes from low to high naturally without you doing anything. So if you find yourself in a low state of mind, the main thing to do is to stop worrying about it and just know, well, that's where I am. So of course I'm interpreting stuff wrong and differently, and seeing zombies where zombies don't appear. And instead of trying to kind of flail around to get out of it, what you can do is just go, and it will pass soon. And sometime soon, I won't get stuck here. Sometime soon, I'll shift and I'll see this whole thing is in a completely different light. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about, and removes that pressure that we often feel of kind of, and so therefore you need to fix your thinking. You don't need to fix your thinking at all. You just need to know that it's a natural thing about being human. Another analogy that I really like here is the idea that to explain what's going on is that it's like we're inside a snow globe, and a snow globe that's been shaken up when we're busy-minded, when we're feeling low, when we're feeling overwhelmed. It's like the snow globe's being shaken up, and the thoughts are kind of flying around like snow all around us. And what happens is that we kind of go, well, I don't want that thought, and I don't want that thought. And you try and kind of catch them and hide them and get rid of them. And in doing that, what it does is it just kind of disturbs more snow. So more thoughts flying around. And these thoughts are all kind of whizzing around all over the place. And you just don't know what to do. You're still busy-minded. So the thing that actually, if you take this analogy further, if you just settle, if you just kind of go, oh, okay, I've got a busy mind and it will pass soon, then you stop flailing around and you stop looking for things, and you stop looking for zombies. And what then happens is that actually that snow settles naturally by itself. And suddenly you have clarity. Suddenly you can see what the world looks like without the zombies and without the kind of the disturbed thinking. And you can see what you need to do next. So hopefully this is helping. And I had a lovely, a comment here. I'm going to just flash it up. So Someone said, you can change how you feel, but it's still very hard to change how others see you. You can't change their augmented reality glass immediately. You can't educate them. That's absolutely true. And that's kind of what I want to move on to now, is that you can change how you feel, and how you feel does change naturally. But it is, you can't change how others see you, because they're in their own virtual reality world. So if I go back now to kind of that idea of how does that state of mind then come back to other people? So and how you interact with other people. So if you have your augmented reality glasses on, you have a certain definition of the world, and those glasses fluctuate, they change depending, you go into a different game depending on where your state of mind is. The person next to you, who it looks like is having exactly the same experience as you, they're having that same thing is happening to them. So they are fluctuating from low state of mind to high state of mind. They are feeling like there's zombies coming at them sometimes, and they're feeling like there's stuff happening to them sometimes. And they're also feeling like they're in a great place sometimes. So they may change in the way that they respond to you. And it's most likely when they're in a low place, when they're feeling insecure, that they respond to you, and they kind of judge you, and they make you feel, or that response can make you feel like you're not enough. But actually what it's telling you is that they're in a low place, so they're feeling like they're not enough. And so that's a really really useful insight I've found, to just help me see what's going on for someone else. They will be changing and fluctuating, and they will change the way that they see you. Going back to the comment just then, that they will change the way that they feel and the way that they see you, depending on what their state of mind is. In the same way as you will find that you're kind of particularly open and connected with someone at some points, and when you're feeling in a low state of mind, you just want to, you end up in an argument with them, and you wonder why you bother. So hopefully that's kind of giving you a slightly different idea of what's going on. So that then leads on to kind of, okay, how can knowing this about state of mind help us to show up more authentically? How can it kind of help us to be there? And just to say again, any comments and any questions, if you've got any follow-ups, please do kind of follow up on that, and I'll be coming back to these and addressing any comments that come up in the group as well later. But so what happens, the thing, how can knowing about these glasses, these zombie glasses, how can that help us to show up more authentically? Well, I've kind of alluded to that a little bit, this idea that, well, when we're feeling insecure, we're less likely to show up more authentically. But what does it mean when we're feeling secure? What does that tell us? Well, for me, that's about when we take the glasses off, when we take our zombie glasses off, when we take any of the glasses off, and we see life for how it is, when the snow's settled. And what happens then is, well, that feeling of that kind of being in that position, that's a feeling of groundedness and calmness and clarity. And if you think about how that feeling, what happens when we're in that feeling of clarity and just feeling confident and present in ourselves, then what tends to happen is that we make good decisions, we're more productive, we're resourceful, we're creative, and all these kind of things naturally start to flow. So it's not just about getting to this grounded state so that we can show up more authentically, but it's also getting to this place so that we feel like we are, we become more productive. And when I say getting to this place, the thing that I love about the analogy of the augmented reality glasses is that it's always there for us. So it's always there in the kind of the idea of just taking the glasses off. We can flip into it just like that. It's just there in the background. And so knowing that, and knowing that when we're feeling a bit off, that actually we can actually step away from whatever we're doing and get grounded and get calm and allow things to settle. And that will help us to kind of feel better and feel more connected and see the solutions that we need. That can be really, really powerful. Now, I don't expect you to take this just on my word, because this is something which it took me quite a while to grasp. It took me a while to kind of go, hang on, what do you mean by it's there in the background? It's always accessible to me. So I'd encourage you again just to go away and get curious about it. If you can, remember when you're feeling low, and we all feel low, we're all human, that's part of what happens, we fluctuate. But if you can get to that point where when you're feeling low, you can go, oh, do you know what? I just need to calm down a little bit. I need to find a way of relaxing. I need to, whatever you need to do in order to do that, then do it. Or just know that you don't actively make any decisions, take any great action until that point where you've settled down. And so that, knowing that, giving you that idea, that hopefully helps you to kind of go, okay, I just need to wait till things settle. Now, the thing that I then want to go on to, and I will really reinforce that it's not about, I'm trying to get away from the idea that it's about getting there and pushing yourself to get there. It's about allowing the snow to settle, and it's about kind of just seeing that it's there waiting for you. But and then one of the things that I found has really helped me when I'm in a low place to keep on showing up and keep on and reground myself is being connected with my mission and what the difference that I want to see in the world, the impact that I have on others. And so that's why within this group, a lot of the stuff that I share and I've started to share is about connecting with your mission, connecting with what's important to you, connecting with what difference you want to see in the world and the impact you want to have on other people's lives. Because that's almost like, for me, it's like a beacon. It's something that's shining out there for me to kind of reorientate myself towards, to kind of go, well, okay, let me think about how I know I'm off a bit here. I know I'm kind of flailing around. I'm feeling low, but I also have a purpose here. I have a reason to show up. And to just explain what I mean by that, I'll give you a couple of examples. So my mission being to help leaders in tech to show up more authentically, and to see that they are resilient, and to build off that resilience, to be more confident so that they can show up authentically and do what's important to them and have an impact on the world. So when I connect with that, if I'm in a low place, if I'm feeling like I'm not very resilient and I'm not showing up, well, part of my message to you guys, to all of you, is, well, actually, when you're resilient, when you're feeling that you're not resilient, actually you are. That message that I've just given you about there being this connection in the background, that even when you're feeling low, actually you've still got that connection with your resilience. And so when I'm feeling like I'm not resilient, when I'm in that low place, which I do get to quite regularly, that kind of mission and knowing, well, hang on, this is what it's all about for me, is showing that this is what happens. Sometimes I get in a low place. So I need to show up and share that with people. I need to be vulnerable and share that with everyone that I'm speaking to. I need to get out there and show that, yes, I suffer from low moods too. And I know while I'm going through this kind of struggle, I also know that this will settle and it will be okay. So by connecting with that mission, it gives me what I need to keep on showing up despite my low place. And so that mission side of things, I feel, is a really powerful bit within all of this. That if you want to help to show up more authentically, then connecting in with what's important to you and the difference that you want to see and the impact on people's lives can really help you there. So I hope that that's kind of giving you some things to think about. I guess the takeaway that I would kind of take from this is go out and be curious. Take that idea. The idea of zombie glasses is just so simple for me. That idea that when you're feeling low, and any kind of low feeling, any kind of feeling of I'm just feeling a bit angry, I'm feeling upset, I'm feeling frustrated, all of that feeling basically tells you that you have your zombie glasses on. Nothing else. It doesn't tell you anything about what's going on in the world. It tells you you're being reactive and that you've got your zombie glasses on. And so it just kind of tells you, actually, you need to settle here. You don't need to do anything else. You just need to allow it to settle and then see what happens as a result. And so if you take that away and just go and explore that and see that for yourself, go and notice, get curious, and then start to notice, well, okay, do I show up more authentically when I'm feeling in a better place, when I'm feeling more grounded? Or is what I'm sharing true? Is that place of groundedness and authenticity always there for me when I want it? And then the other thing I'd say is also just accept that you're human. Know that you are human, because being human means that we fluctuate, and sometimes we get it wrong and sometimes we mess it up. And when we know that that's just part of life, that's part of the life that we're living, then actually that gives us more space to allow it to just settle. We don't beat ourselves up enough. Sorry, we don't beat ourselves up as much. Is what I should have said there. Enough. Anyway, so if you've got any questions at all, I'm coming to the end now, so I'd love to hear them. Please do post them. The thing that I'd say off the back of this is that if you'd like to explore this in more detail, then I offer one-to-one sessions. So I do one-to-one sessions to help you explore this and to get deeply into this. And the benefits of kind of doing one-to-one over a period of time is that it helps you to kind of get stuck into, okay, well, how does this affect me showing up here? How does my state of mind affect me in this particular place? So it allows us to explore over a period of time what happens. So if you'd be interested in working with me one-to-one, then please do drop me a line. I have various different offers that I can kind of package together depending on what's going on for you. And hopefully also through this group, I'm trying to share some of these insights and some of these understandings. So hopefully this is also coming through as well. But at the very least, I hope that this has kind of inspired you to go away and just be kinder with yourself, and see that by being kinder with yourself and knowing what's going on will help you show up more authentically. So I've not had any other comments or questions coming through, but hopefully as I said, I will be checking back in and seeing what you get from it. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a lovely evening. I'll see you later.